FBI Director Kash Patel has announced that 30 people over 11 states, including an NBA basketball player and an NBA head coach, have been arrested for an illegal gambling scheme. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about FBI Director announcing that 30 people over 11 states, including Italian mob members, NBA basketball players, NBA head coaches, and others who have been arrested for an illegal gambling scheme. Now, this comes as no surprise to me. I'm going to be all the way transparent right here. I like sports, but I don't love it the way I used to because it feels like it's fake. NFL football, NBA basketball, it feels like WWE. And you know what? If they were to say it's just entertainment, it's not really real, it'd be okay because it's still fun to watch. You got some really good players out there doing a great job. But when you have stuff like this, and this ain't the first time, I covered a story just like this last year. I'll get to that in a minute. But when you see these things, it ruins the confidence you have in this game really being authentic. So it's like, what am I cheering for? Am I watching a play, or am I watching true competitors out there really giving it their all and getting the best ability to win at the end? Now, before I go any further into it, let's get into what Kash Patel said quickly. Then we're going to get to a few more clips. We're going to get into how this whole thing played out, all the details, the outs and ins. Of course, I will link to this video and everything else in the description. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing.
All right, so there's more to that press conference, but I'll link to the rest in the box. This is going to be Joseph Nocella, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York. He's going to explain how this whole scheme played out. Let's check it out.
The defendants in this case are Eric Ernest, Marvez Farley, Shane Hennon, DeNiro Laster, Damon Jones, a former NBA player and coach, and Terry Rozier, a current NBA player. Other co-conspirators were previously charged for their roles in the scheme, including former NBA player Jontay Porter.
Let's pause right there. I covered the Jontay Porter story last year, 2024, in April. I remember it very well. Now, in that case, I'm not going to say it's right. I still think what he did is wrong, obviously. But I understand to a certain extent why he would do it, because he was the last guy on the bench, not getting much play. He probably wasn't going to be in the league that much longer, and he was a young guy. So he was like, okay, I'm going to get this money while I can because tomorrow I could be cutting off the team. Again, I'm not saying this right. I'm just saying I kind of understand why you would do it. Now, in the case of Chauncey Billups, you've been in the league for the past 25 years as a player or a coach. Terry Rozier, you've been the star in this league. Why are you guys doing it? Also, something else, 2024, that was during the Biden administration, right? This investigation has been happening for the past 2 years. And before I continue with this press conference, let's go to Stephen A. Smith, because he is trying to blame President Trump. Okay, last I checked, President Trump was not president in 2023 or 2024. But let's keep on going.
How many times, for one incident after another, have I said, Trump is coming? He's coming. I'm going to say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there.
Okay, so now we're getting just political. Stephen A., I get it. You want to become the president. I understand. You want to kind of touch the waters, whatever. But now what you're doing is you're sowing these bad seeds. And when people see this on ESPN, normies might tend to believe you. It's like watching The View or other Disney products. But that's a different story.
Looking to engage in mass deportations. The Super Bowl, disrupting things. Big night for the NBA. Wembanyama put on a show. That has now been smeared because we're talking about this story.
But who are you trying to blame for that, though? Is it Trump's fault that these guys were allegedly engaging in illegal gambling? Some of the guys already got put on, like, some of the guys have already been put out there. Like I said, Jonte Porter, 2024, that was last year. So how is this Trump's fault?
Okay. Remember, Trump has a long, long history connected to the world of sports because he had those casinos. Where do you think folks were coming half the time? I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the culture.
Okay, there's more to that, but you get the idea. Blame Trump. It's his fault. He's the one that is now targeting the NBA because he's jealous, he's a hater or whatever. Let's get back to the press conference. Then we're going to get into a little bit more of a detailed analysis from a more non-biased NBA expert.
Between December 2022 and March 2024, these defendants perpetrated a scheme to defraud by betting on inside, non-public information about NBA athletes and teams.
Now, that would kind of be akin to insider trading. Okay, that's the Martha Stewart situation when she went to prison. That's kind of like that a little bit.
The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games, or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses. They relied on corrupt individuals, including Jones and Rozier. They also misused information obtained through long-standing friendships that they had with NBA players and coaches.
An example of that would be Damon Jones. At the time, I think he was on the Cavaliers. He was on the team with LeBron, and he knew that LeBron was going to be injured one day. So he texted somebody in this indictment. He texted somebody that LeBron was going to be injured and put in the bet the next day for that.
And in at least one instance, they got their information by threatening a current player, Porter, because of his pre-existing gambling debts.
See, now look, here's what I think is going on. They would allow this gambling to go on to a certain extent, but then when you start to get dangerous and people start to, get hurt and people coming up missing, now we got to crack down.
Defendants use this non-public information to place hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent bets, mostly in the form of prop bets on individual player performance. The bets were placed through online sports books and also in person at casinos. The defendants relied on a network of straw bettors to place the maximum amount of bets to increase their potential profits. Most of these bets succeeded, and the intended losses were in the millions of dollars. The defendants then laundered their illegal winnings in various ways: peer-to-peer platforms, bank wires, and simple cash exchanges.
Yes, they can track cryptocurrency. Actually, they can track crypto. They can track crypto better than a dollar. So, yes, they can see that.
The indictment details specific examples where the defendants profited from illegal gambling and illegal betting on various NBA games about the performance of players on, among other things, the Charlotte Hornets, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Toronto Rangers. Each defendant in the NBA basketball gambling case has been charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering.
Now, let's go to the NBA expert over here. Okay, you see my man right there? You already know. When I saw him, I knew he knew what was going on. Okay, this is going to be on CBS Sports. Let's watch.
We take you away from that press conference in Brooklyn, New York, to now bring in our NBA expert, Sam Quinn. And Sam, a lot to take in right there. I think the biggest things that we should take a look at are the illegal gambling and the poker betting that we were just hearing about with Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier. What were your takeaways that you just heard?
Yeah, I've looked back at the Jonte Porter scandal. There was some hope, I think, that this was an isolated incident. It was a two-way player, somebody who hadn't made a lot of money playing in the NBA. Maybe he was vulnerable, but it wasn't, say, a widespread problem. Terry Rozier has made $160 million playing in the NBA. If he's vulnerable to a scandal like this, that raises a lot of questions that I don't think the NBA has good answers for.
I think the question is, how widespread is it? Is there a culture of gambling in the NBA among everybody? That's the question we got to ask. And if that's going on, then the game is fake.
I think this is probably the most significant gambling scandal the NBA has faced yet. The hope, and I mean, with multiple, between Chauncey Billups, who I guess is in a different with the poker investigation getting investigated for different things, but between Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones and Terry Rozier, this is much more significant than just a single player, like was the case with Jonte Porter. It's the most significant gambling investigation I think the NBA has dealt with, and yeah, I all I can say is there's a lot more investigation to be done here, and this is a very dangerous situation for the league as a whole.
So here, there's more from this. I will link to everything in the box, but you get the general idea of what's going on. This has been a 2-year investigation into the NBA illegal gambling. You got La Cosa Nostra, the Italian mob. You got guys in the league playing. You got a head coach, Chauncey Billups. You got a former player. You got a lot of people involved. This is a problem for the NBA, and it's been going on for a long time. You just had, like I said, Jonte Porter last year. This has been going on for 2 years. And in 2007, you had Tim Donaghy. He got locked up for doing stuff like this, the referee. This has been going on for a long time, and you got to ask, okay, if Tim Donaghy happens in 2007 and this happens now, 25, 23, whatever, how long has gambling been going on in that period of time? And 07 was before Prize Picks and your apps on your phone. It was before all of that. It wasn't no smartphones at this time, not really. So I think it's probably worse and more widespread now. Like my man said, that's going to be a question that the NBA might not be able to or want to really answer. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion on this NBA gambling situation? Again, 30 people over 11 states, 2-year investigation. You got the mob involved. You got all kinds of stuff. Millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. It's a serious issue. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. To me, it kind of makes the game fake. And when I'm looking at the game, sometimes I'm hearing the whistle blow when it doesn't need to be blown. I'm seeing the shot taken when it doesn't need to be taken. I'm like, what is going on? So it just cheapens the game. I'm not excited to watch it. So therefore, I'll do something else with my time. I ain't even going to spend time on sports because I know at a certain point that it's fake. Baseball, Shohei Ohtani got caught up in the same situation. The NFL, I'm sure stuff going on there too. I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'd rather just do something else with my time. Totally honest with you. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that is all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.